If you're already getting anxiety over delivering wedding cakes in the hot weather, this video is for you. Hi, I'm Jenny, and I teach wedding cake makers how to be better business owners. All right, today we are going to be talking about delivering cakes in hot weather, which we all have to do at some point, unless you're living in Antarctica. And today is such a nice sunny day. I was thinking about it. That's how I got inspired by this tip. So I really want to talk about this because it's something that a lot of us, most of us, 99% of us probably have to deal with. And it gives us nightmares. I have nightmares literally of coming to the kitchen. I have my commercial kitchen's offsite, coming to the kitchen and opening my refrigerators and just like seeing or opening the door and just seeing all the cakes on the floor. I have that recurring nightmare. The other nightmare I have is opening the back of my car and just seeing butter just spill out of my car. So this is what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you my tips on how to avoid that kind of anxiety and do everything that you can in your power to make sure that you never have a disaster. Okay. All right, so the first thing you want to do is when you're meeting with the clients, make sure to find out where the ceremony is in relation to the reception. Find out if it's outdoors, find out if it's air conditioned, find out all the details as much as you can, and then find out where location wise the ceremony is. So meaning if it's on site, if it's at the same place, find out if you can access the reception area and not be seen during the ceremony. Okay, so this will be helpful for you later on, and I'll tell you why later. But you want to find out logistically where exactly everything is located. So if they're having an outdoor tent, and the ceremony is going to be right next to the tent, or it's going to be in the backyard, and then the ceremony or tent is on the other part, so that you can figure out exactly where everything's going to be. And then what you also want to do is, if you're concerned about the weather, if it's a tough month and a tough cake, just tell your clients that if it's really, really, really super, super hot weather, we will deliver as late as we possibly can, just so that they know in advance. All right. So then, as you know, like we usually do, coming up to a wedding date, we're always checking the weather. That's all I do is check the weather and the traffic and everything else, and just sit in my house and wait to deliver the cake. So check the weather. If you do have concerns, check with the venue. This is like a couple days away that I'm thinking, okay? So check with the venue and see if they do have refrigeration, just in case something, if the cake's on display and they have to run and put it in a refrigerator. I've actually had that happen once in 30 years. But if they do have refrigeration, find that out, and that will put you at ease, okay? So then that's what you want to do a few days before, just to make sure that you have all your ducks in a row. Ducks in a row? Yeah, ducks in a row, I think is the saying. All right, so make sure you have everything, all the information that you need, so that you don't have to be wondering like, oh my God, if I deliver the cake late, are they going to see me? So make sure you have all that information. And then you want to have the cake chilled overnight. All right, make sure it's chilled the night before all the way to the day. Do not be finishing a cake the day of the wedding. Just please don't ever do that anyway. So make sure the cake is completely chilled. I don't freeze any of my cakes, but they're chilled at every process, so that when I do deliver a cake, it's all supported and it's all chilled. And then the day of delivery, you want to make sure that you deliver at the last possible moment. So that means that your car is chilled, the cake goes in a box, it goes in your car, and you drive to the venue. And then if for some reason it's still too hot and too early, you just sit and you wait in your car until it's time to deliver. All right. And I know this is tricky because we're delivering multiple cakes sometimes, but you want to make sure that if you want to make sure that nothing happens and that you can sleep at night, just sit there until the last possible moment to bring it out. All right. And this could be during the ceremony. That's why I was that's why I was saying before, find out where the ceremony is in relation to the the reception, because at a lot of weddings the ceremony is at a different place, so you can wait till the ceremony's over and wait until right before people are coming to the tent and then set the cake up. Please, please, please don't let planners, don't let coordinators, don't let anyone set up your wedding cakes ever. This is part of our service. This is why when people say like, oh, it's a wedding and they charge extra, they charge 3 times as much. Well, that's why we get extra, because we're going through all this and we're taking the care. So don't let anyone else touch your cakes, okay? Just, don't leave them early. Don't leave them off early. Unless I did have one hotel, the Four Seasons in Boston. We had a relationship, so the pastry chefs preferred that I deliver at a certain time and put them in their refrigerator. But that was a totally different thing. Regular weddings, normal weddings, for the most part, we don't have that kind of relationship, so it's up to us to provide that service. So just make sure that you are doing all of this and you oversee it, okay? And then you want to make sure that, again, if you are concerned about the weather, ask the coordinators to cut it early. I've done that before too, where it's extreme weather and it's like, listen, I don't think this cake's going to last 8 hours. Maybe you can move the cutting up and something like that. And then I have had, like I said before, I've had coordinators take the cake. They saw that it was a little melty and they took the cake and they put it in the refrigerator for an hour and then brought it back out. So just check with the coordinators. You don't want to ever bother your couples with any of this. This is not their problem. We are here to make their weddings stress-free. This is our kind of stress to take on. That's why we want to make sure that we do everything in our control that we can. And this comes to another question too. During the consultation, sometimes people will ask me, like, what do you do in really hot weather? And my answer for them, feel free to steal this completely, my answer for them is, we control everything that we can on our side. But we can't control Mother Nature. We can't control the weather, but we do control every single thing that on our side, so that we make sure that the cake is delivered chilled. It's cold when it gets there. It still has a couple hours of shelf life. It should have, even in extreme weather, before something happens, okay? And then always make sure you take a picture after delivery. Make sure you take a picture of your the whole situation. If you have a difficult setup or something like that, or the cake is in a weird place and it's going to be moved or something like that, just make sure you take a picture of the cake, what it looked like at drop off. All right. So that is what I want to share with you today to help you sleep at night during this season. And if you do have any tips for delivering in warm weather, I know I have one of my Wedding Cake Business Academy students lives in Curacao, and they have a special kind of fondant. They use this tropical fondant that I've never used before, but it's meant to be more stable in hot weather. So if you have any tips you want to share, please put them in the comments, okay? And if you do get any help from this video, please subscribe, please like it, and it does help me reach more bakers to be better business owners. All right, so we will see you next week. Thank you so much. Bye bye.